Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on All India Radio. This is Gaurav Sharma and with me is Reshma Tiwari bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. India's Tejas light combat aircraft emerges as top choice for Malaysia despite stiff competition from China, South Korea and Russia. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate Digital India Week 2022 to ensure ease of living and giving a boost to startups. Coal and Mines Minister of India Prahlad Joshi reaches Australia to accelerate march towards achieving clean energy ambitions. India dispatches 15th consignment of 2,500 metric tons of wheat to Afghanistan as humanitarian assistance. Russia takes control of Ukraine's eastern Luhansk People's Republic after capturing Lysychansk. US travelers experience delay of thousands of flights as well as cancellation of hundreds on eve of July 4th holiday. In cricket, India bowled out England for 284 runs to take crucial 132-run lead in the first innings on the third day of the Birmingham Test. And in Women's Hockey World Cup, India play out a 1-1 draw against England in Pool B opener in the Netherlands. India's Tejas light combat aircraft has emerged as a top choice for Malaysia as the Southeast Asian nation looks at replacing its aging fleet of fighter jets, and the two sides are holding negotiations to firm up the procurement. We have a report.
Chairman and Managing Director of Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, R. Madhavan, said that Malaysia has narrowed down on the Indian aircraft notwithstanding the stiff competition from China's JF-17 jet, South Korea's FA-50 and Russia's MiG-35 as well as Yak-130. Mr. Madhavan said that if this deal is sealed, it will give a very good signal to other prospective buyers of the aircraft and boost its overall export potential. He said that the negotiations are almost in the final stages. It is reported that the Chinese JF-17 was cheaper but could not match the technical parameters of the Tejas Mk1A variant and the offer of maintenance of the Su-30 fleet as proposed by India. A team of high-ranking officials and experts is expected to visit India soon to take forward the procurement process. Malaysia is procuring the aircraft to replace its aging fleet of Russian MiG-29 fighter planes. Mr. Madhavan said Tejas is a much superior aircraft compared to JF-17 and FA-50 and that the selection of the Indian aircraft would provide Malaysia with the option to go in for future upgrades of the fleet. Tejas is manufactured by the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. It is a single-engine, highly agile, multi-role supersonic fighter aircraft capable of operating in high-threat air environments. In February last year, the Indian Defence Ministry sealed a 48,000 crore rupees deal with the HAL for the procurement of 83 Tejas fighter aircraft for the Indian Air Force. Desk report, World News, All India Radio.
Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, will inaugurate Digital India Week 2022 at Gandhi Nagar in western state of Gujarat on Monday. During the program, he will launch multiple digital initiatives aimed at enhancing accessibility of technology, streamlining service delivery to ensure ease of living, and giving a boost to startups. Our correspondent reports that the theme for Digital India Week is Catalyzing New India's Tech Aid.
The Prime Minister will launch the Digital India Bhashni, which will enable easy access to the internet and digital services in Indian languages, including voice-based access, and help the creation of content in Indian languages. He will also launch the Digital India Genesis, a national deep tech startup platform to discover, support, grow and make successful startups in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities of India. A total outlay of 750 crore rupees has been envisaged for the scheme. Mr. Modi will launch IndiaStack.Global, a global repository of key projects implemented under the India Stack like Aadhaar, UPI, DigiLocker, CoWIN vaccination platform, government e-marketplace, Diksha platform and Ayushman Bharat Digital Health Mission. This offering of India to the global public digital goods repository will help position India as the leader of building digital transformation projects at population scale. It will prove to be of immense help to other countries which are looking for such technology solutions. Prime Minister will dedicate to the citizens My Scheme, a service discovery platform facilitating access to government schemes. He will also dedicate to the citizens Meri Pehchan National Single Sign-On for One Citizen Login. The National Single Sign-On is a user authentication service in which a single set of credentials provide access to multiple online applications or services. With Suparna Saikia's report, Swati Rukheja, World News, All India Radio.
India's Coal and Mines Minister Prahlad Joshi has reached Australia on a 6-day visit to accelerate its march towards achieving clean energy ambitions in a sustainable manner. During the visit, Mr. Joshi will focus on joint investment possibilities in lithium and cobalt projects in Australia, which is critical for India's transition towards clean energy ambitions. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has laid special emphasis on taking the India-Australian bilateral relations to new horizons that will pave the way for greater cooperation between the two nations in various fields, particularly in critical minerals, coal and mining. During his visit, Mr. Joshi will also address the vibrant Indian diaspora.
India has sent the 15th consignment of 2,500 metric tons of wheat to Afghanistan as humanitarian assistance via the Atari-Wagah border. Balbir Mangat, Joint Commissioner of the Customs, on Saturday said that a total of 36,000 metric tons of wheat has been sent so far. Out of 50,000 metric tons which was promised by India, only 14,000 metric tons is left to be dispatched. Earlier, in a humanitarian effort to aid Afghanistan, India had sent the next shipment of 3,000 metric tons of wheat to Afghanistan, said Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Arindam Bakshi.
In today's Hotspot section, we bring you a discussion on the India-EU FTA negotiations round 1. In conversation are Ashok Sajjanhar, a former diplomat, and Manish Anand, a journalist.
India and the European Union concluded their first round of talks for free trade agreement. FTA talks between the EU and India had been stalled for almost 8 years, and it was restarted very recently. During the first round of talks, 52 technical sessions covering 18 policy areas of FTA and 7 sessions on investment protection and geographical indicators were held. The second round of talks will take place in Brussels. While the talks were ongoing between EU and India for the FTA between 2007 and 2013, the principal concerns which stalled the negotiations were insistence on the part of the European Union for liberalized tariffs on automobiles, alcohol, beverages and dairy products, which in fact had been the case with RCEP also. So with all these concerns, we are moving forward. While India wanted more access in the EU markets for our skilled manpower. Ambassador Sajjanhar, now that we have progressed well and we are hoping that by next year, early next year, we will be concluding the FTA talks with the EU. Do you think that we have resolved the past concerns which we had seen in?
Well, the first step, Manish, is the most important step, as it is said. So these talks coming after 2013, the first round of talks, after more than 8 years, I think this is good beginning. So when both the leaders announced that by the end of next year, we should have an agreement. So it bodes well. But of course, the challenges still continue to be there. But notwithstanding the challenges, you mentioned several of them as far as dairy is concerned, as far as alcoholic beverages is concerned, as far as autos are concerned, their access into the Indian market. And also India's demand for allowing its professionals to go into the EU market. So those challenges continue. In addition to that, there are new areas of, likes of intellectual property rights, labor laws, environment, climate. I think these are also issues on which discussions will be held. But I feel very confident because I think there is a renewed political commitment and maturity on both sides, and both of them want to take these negotiations to a fruitful conclusion without too much of delay. I think the other aspect also is that both the sides realize that China is a big threat, and both sides would like to strengthen their cooperation. As far as EU is concerned, China is the largest trading partner. India comes way down as far as number 10 is, it is at number 10. But still, EU realizes that there is huge potential in India as a big market, and also a stable democratic system in India. That also helps it. So I think there are a large number of areas, large number of reasons also why both sides are moving together with renewed confidence. The last point that I would like to make here is that both the sides have decided that there are such a large number of convergences between them, and they would not like that one issue or a few issues, few divergences should hold the whole relationship to hostage. So that gives me great confidence that both the sides have started off on the right track. And as you said, the next round is going to take place in Brussels in September. That means after about 2 months. That means both the sides are keen that they should progress these talks at the maximum speed possible. Manish.
Indeed. Ambassador Sajjanhar, we have seen that Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in Europe twice in the last 2 months. And the focus appears that while India has taken quite a lead in climate change response, and European countries being powerhouses for clean technologies. So do we think, can we anticipate that if such an FTA works out at the earliest, will India gain from clean technology as well as financial or the capital flow, which the European countries have a lot of reserves with them, which may fund India's progress on these two fronts?
I think there are a number of aspects as far as clean technology is concerned and protecting climate change is concerned. So in addition to what you have mentioned, that it will be in terms of economics, it will be beneficial for India. But India has taken a leadership role in this. As you know, even in 2015, at the Paris talks, we had launched the International Solar Alliance. Today we have more than 100 members of the International Solar Alliance. We had also launched the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure Initiatives. So India has been taking a leadership role, and you would have seen that at the COP26 in Glasgow last November, India has taken huge commitments, and in many of the cases, whatever targets we had assigned to ourselves, for instance, that we should have 40% of our energy generated through fossil-free sources, that we have been able to attain 8 years before the target date that we had given in the Paris Accord. Also, in terms of the renewables, what we had promised, what we had committed, that by 2030, we would have 450 gigawatt of production through renewables. But now that has been increased to 500 gigawatt, and India is moving in that direction in a very strong way. And also India is the only G20 country which is meeting its Paris commitments. So on the climate change aspects, India is going very strong. But India also realizes that it is both a challenge as well as an opportunity, and we have been asking for both finance as also technology at reasonable prices. And I think if that happens, of course, it is going to be a win-win situation for all countries concerned and for the universe as a whole. Because India's economic growth is to the advantage not only of the Indian people and India as a country, but it will be beneficial for the region and for the whole world. And it will also facilitate the protection of the environment, the ecological protection, and that again will be beneficial for India as well as for the world. So I think EU and India need to work together. There is this recognition, and I'm sure these aspects will be factored in when discussions take place in the coming months. And I'm sure this is an aspect that has also been underlined by the Indian delegation in our discussions which have taken place last week.
True. India, in fact, a couple of months back, signed a pact, quite a comprehensive economic pact with Australia. And India already has inked an FTA with the United Arab Emirates. And we are hopeful that India will sign an FTA with the UK by Diwali, hopefully, while talks are progressing with the US. So, Ambassador Sajanhar, we think that there is quite a thrust on FTAs with countries where we have a lot of diaspora who are in influential positions in economic and political domains. Do you think that in place of bloc, individual countries, FTAs would work for our advantage in the coming years?
So, thank you, Manish. I think that's a very important question. Let me take it up at two levels. Number one, that, about 20 odd years ago, and I used to be negotiating for India. I negotiated for India in the Euroground of multilateral trade negotiations. Also, when the India-EU FTA discussions were launched in 2007, I was in Brussels. I have negotiated for the India-EU-Thailand FTA. So there was a time when India was going all out for signing these FTAs, but our experience with these FTAs has not been a very happy and very positive one. So over the last few years, you would have seen since the time that the government led by Prime Minister Modi came to power, we have not signed even a single FTA. But we have taken a large number of domestic measures to make ourselves more competitive. Whether it is ease of doing business, whether it is introduction of GST, it is introduction of insolvency and bankruptcy code, it is the productivity linked incentive scheme, the Make in India. In the area of startups, we have done so well in terms of Atmanirbharta, those initiatives that have been taken. So I think that has made our economy more resilient, that has made our economy more competitive. And that is why, as you mentioned very rightly, that we have signed this deal with the United Arab Emirates, which I'm told is the fastest bilateral trade deal with any country anywhere. And then I think the range, the comprehensiveness, the depth, the broad-based agreement signed with Australia has also taken many observers and many analysts by surprise. So India is now ready to go in for that. We withdrew from the RCEP in November 2019 for concerns on dairy and automobiles and other issues, and basically that it would give a free pass to China. But now India is feeling more confident, and I think we are as ready to engage in countries individually as we are ready to engage them as blocs.
Mr. Sajanhar, you have given us a lot of insight. Thank you so much for talking to All India Radio.
Thank you very much.
This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu on Sunday announced that the last remnants of Ukrainian forces have been driven out of the Luhansk People's Republic. The defense minister reported this to President Vladimir Putin. Shoigu said that Russian troops, along with Donbass force, had completely seized Lysychansk, the last major city which had remained under Ukrainian control since 2014. News of the capture of Lysychansk comes from Ukrainian troops retreated from Severodonetsk, a nearby city on the opposite side of the Seversky Donets River, last week.
Uzbekistan's President Shavkat Mirziyoyev said on Sunday there were casualties among civilians and law enforcement officers after rare public protests in the country's northwestern Karakkal, Pakistan province. In a statement posted online, Mirziyoyev said rioters had carried out destructive actions in the city of Nukus, throwing stones, starting fires and attacking police. He said, unfortunately, there are victims among civilians and law enforcement officers.
In the United States, nearly 12,500 flights were delayed and 1,300 plus were cancelled as the 4th of July weekend got underway, continuing a troubling trend of jammed-up airport service. As of Sunday, total delays within, into or out of the United States were 938 flights, according to the airline tracking service FlightAware.com. At least 48 million people are expected to hit the road over the holiday weekend, including 3.5 million who plan to fly as airlines struggle to keep up with the soaring post-pandemic summer travel boom. The number of available pilots and flight attendants, along with sky-high fuel costs, which hit a national average of $4.82 a gallon on Friday, are expected to cause disruptions, according to experts. Weather is also a part of the problem of the flight delay or cancellations.
In Australia, thousands of residents in Sydney suburbs were told to evacuate their homes on Sunday after heavy rains caused floodwaters to rise and rivers to overflow. Authorities called it life-threatening emergencies. The Bureau of Meteorology issued a severe weather warning for heavy rain and flash floods and winds of up to 90 kilometers per hour along the coast of Australia's most populous city and other parts of New South Wales state. Authorities said that Warragamba Dam in Western Sydney began overflowing overnight, and the peak spill would be comparable to devastating floods in March last year. In order to provide an opportunity for millions of devotees of Baba Amarnath Ji across the globe who could not come for the Yatra this year, the Sri Amarnath Ji Shrine Board of India is extending the online facility. The board provides facilities for performing virtual puja, virtual havan and others to devotees to have a personalized experience of the Holy Cave Shrine in Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. We have more in this report.
The Sri Amarnath Ji Shrine Board informed that the devotees can book their puja, havan and prasad online, and priests at the Holy Cave will offer it in the devotee's name. Besides, the prasad will be subsequently delivered at doorsteps of the devotees. SASB Chief Executive Officer Nitishwar Kumar said that the online services can be booked through Sri Amarnath Ji Shrine Board's website www.sriamarnathjishrine.com by clicking Book Online Puja /havan/prasad link and through the board's mobile application after paying a certain amount. The virtual puja or havan will be carried out by the pujaris at the cave shrine by pronouncing the name and gotra of the devotee along with chanting of mantras and shlokas. Mr. Nitishwar Kumar said that by maximizing the use of available technology and digitization, the devotees would be let in a virtual online room through GeoMeet application wherein they can have a special virtual puja and darshan of Lord Shiva. He further observed that the arrangements have been made with the Postal Department for dispatching prasad within 48 hours. With the report of Sunil Kaul from Srinagar, this is Anita Anand, Desk Report, World News, All India Radio.
In Egypt's Red Sea, 2 women were killed in shark attacks in south of the city of Hurghada, the Egyptian Ministry of Environment said on Sunday. A news agency reported that the body of a Romanian tourist in her late 40s was discovered hours after an attack that left a 68-year-old Austrian woman dead. Both attacks happened within 600 meters of each other off the coast of Sal Hashish. The ministry said in its statement that a committee had been formed to examine the circumstances of the attack and any scientific reasons behind them.
The government of Bangladesh has further tightened the austerity measures in the country considering the global economic situation. A circular of the Finance Division of the government has stopped purchases of vehicles, including ships and aircraft, by all government and semi-government, autonomous, statutory, state-owned companies and financial institutions. The circular announced several other measures to stop or reduce expenditure over the operational and development budget for the current financial year 2023.
In tennis, Indian tennis ace Sania Mirza and her Croatian partner Mate Pavic reached the Wimbledon 2022 mixed doubles quarterfinals after receiving a walkover in their round of 16 match on Sunday. Sania and Pavic were set to face Ivan Dodig and Letitia Chan in the pre-quarters. They will now take on either the Australian-Canadian pair of John Peers and Gabriela Dabrowski or Brazil's Bruno Soares and Beatriz Haddad Maia in the quarterfinals.
In Women's Hockey World Cup, India were held to a 1-1 draw against England in their opening Pool B fixture of the FIH Hockey Women's World Cup 2022 at the Wagonair Hockey Stadium, Amstelveen in the Netherlands on Sunday. Peter Isabel gave England the lead via a field goal in the 8th minute. India missed a host of chances before Vandana Kataria found the equalizer in quarter 2 after converting a rebound via a penalty corner. India will play China in their next Pool B match on Tuesday.
In cricket, India bowled out England for 284 runs to take a crucial 132-run lead in the first innings on day 3 of the Birmingham Test on Sunday. A power-packed century from Johnny Bairstow, however, helped England avoid a follow-on. Bairstow scored 106 runs that included 14 boundaries and 2 sixes. Billings with 36 runs was the only notable contributor for England. Opening their second innings, India were 103 for 3 when reports last came in. And now let us take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. First, let's have a look at the press reports on China. AP writes that the last British governor of Hong Kong has accused China's government of being in the process of turning the city into a police state. In an interview with the British broadcaster Sky News, Chris Patton said that China had failed to keep its promise over Hong Kong. Hong Kong on Friday marked the 25th anniversary of its handover by the British to Chinese rule.
The Financial Times writes that China's rise pushes Asia-Pacific nations to embrace NATO, North Atlantic Alliance to expand cooperation with Japan, South Korea, Australia and New Zealand.
Now let's have a look at the press reports on Nepal. According to Khabar Hub, top leaders of the ruling coalition have reached at the proposed international airport site at Nijgarh in Bara and promised to forward the construction plan ahead. Nepal needs another international airport, spacious and well-equipped, and it's a good place as well, PM Deoba said after inspection.
In Nepal, Himalayan Time reports that at least 3 persons have gone missing and hundreds of houses and shops were inundated due to the flood triggered by incessant rainfall since Friday night.
And now let's have a look at the press reports from Balochistan. As per an ANI report, besides the rise in cases of enforced disappearances and abductions in Balochistan, there has been a reported increase in the number of extrajudicial killings in Balochistan, stated the monthly newsletter of the Baloch Human Rights Council, BHRC, on Saturday.
According to the Balochistan Post, Pakistani military forces have been targeted in Bolan and Kech districts of Balochistan. Pro-independence armed groups claimed responsibility for the attacks.
And now let's have a look at the press reports from Pakistan. Dawn reports that PMLN's Ataullah Tarar on Sunday announced plans for seeking red warrants to bring Farhat Shehzadi, also known as Farah Khan, and a close aide of PTI chief Imran Khan's wife Bushra Bibi back to Pakistan.
Daily Times says Interior Minister Rana Sanaullah Khan on Saturday said that the government has decided to ensure 100% coverage of CCTV cameras of Islamabad's Safe City project during the current fiscal year. Currently, only 30% cameras of Safe City project were providing coverage.
News just coming in now. In Denmark, several people have been shot in at a shopping center in the capital, Copenhagen. Police say armed officers were sent to the Fields Mall in the south of the city. It is not clear how many people may have been killed or wounded in the attack. And before we end the news bulletin, a quick look at the headlines once again. India's Tejas light combat aircraft emerges as top choice for Malaysia despite stiff competition from China, South Korea and Russia. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate Digital India Week 2022 to ensure ease of living and giving a boost to startups. Coal and Mines Minister of India Prahlad Joshi reaches Australia to accelerate march towards achieving clean energy ambitions. India dispatches 15th consignment of 2,500 metric tons of wheat to Afghanistan as humanitarian assistance. Russia takes control of Ukraine's eastern Luhansk People's Republic after capturing Lysychansk. US travelers experience delay of thousands of flights as well as cancellation of hundreds on eve of 4th July holiday. In cricket, India bowl out England for 284 runs to take a crucial 132-run lead in the first innings on the third day of the Birmingham Test. And in Women's Hockey World Cup, India play out a 1-1 draw against England in Pool B opener in the Netherlands.
And now before we end, let's listen to Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan Vaishnav Jan by artists from Belarus.
with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.